If there's anything that I can say about myself and who I truly am, it's that I've always been a fan of Scooby-Doo. What you probably never knew about the program was that there was a seedy underbelly to the show that culminated in a lost episode. Hanna-Barbera was notorious for cutting episodes from its Aunt Jemima lineup. There used to be this mail-order company that would send VHS tapes to your door in the early 90s. Basically, you paid the shipping and handling, and for about $1 extra, you got a VHS of a great show. I remember ordering the Scooby-Doo classic Creep Capers when I was just 8 years old. It's funny that I never received it. Well, actually, I did receive it just a week ago, and I'm not 8 years old anymore. I'm much older than that. I'm not going to reveal my age. A true gentleman doesn't do that. It was left in the mailbox, and it was burned terribly, and the cover of the tape was warped. Scooby-Doo's head was chopped off, and the packaging that contained the tape was ripped. I could only wonder how the tape actually got to me so many years later, with my best explanation being that it had been left in the mailroom's dead letter department for nearly 20 years. The episode wasn't on any of the official lists on Wikipedia. 4503 Hassle in the Castle was supposed to be the episode. This one's title confused me something terrible instead. It was 4503, all right, but it was called The Clack of the Sacks. I'd been eating a Mounds bar and contemplating where my life went wrong. Again, I don't want to tell you how old I am. It would probably make you think a lot of things that are stereotypes and not true, but I decided to put the tape on. Thankfully, Grandmom's VHS player was still in top condition. I ejected the tape that was currently in the slot, which was an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, with the title The Tale of the Terrible Teabags. Some part of me told me not to put the tape in. I got a very uncomfortable feeling pushing it into the VHS player, like the feeling you get when the pool man is watching you hose yourself down and smiling. The episode started as normal, with Scooby-Doo skulking along in fear. Except his red hot dog-shaped penis was waving in the wind. Ew, gross. Instead of the scene zooming out to show Scooby walking on giant ice, it was... well, I don't know what it was. I made a peanut butter sandwich with Nutella and sat down to enjoy some fine programming. There was just something different about the show. They were all frightened, but the editing was different. At the part of the song where Shaggy sings, Scooby-Doo, the lyrics were changed to, let's all have some Mountain Dew. And Shaggy was seen drinking Mountain Dew. The wizard looked different too. Two pear-shaped objects could be seen hanging from him. There's also a scene where the red monster is checking the filing cabinet. Now when they slip between his legs to get away, you just hear blood-curdling screaming with the Mountain Dew logo in the corner. Why in the world would Mountain Dew want that kind of advertising is beyond me. The show immediately cuts to a scene of the gang and the Mystery Machine, the way we're accustomed to seeing them in that hippie mobile. But the characters all looked disheveled. Most of them are squinting painfully. It's hard to tell why they're squinting, if they were just doing that George Costanza thing, or you're not wearing your glasses or whatever. I don't remember. I haven't watched Seinfeld in a while. But part of me knew already. Fred looked really mad. The Mystery Machine was sputtering along hurriedly. "Oh, fuck," Fred said. We're running out of gas. Well, this sounded like a job for... Shut the fuck up, Fred yelled. We're not getting out of the goddamn van this time. Look at that abandoned castle, Daphne pointed out. We always end up stranded at a goddamn castle and already know what's going to happen. And I swear, if I see one more pair of... Shaggy couldn't find his keys. Where are my keys, man? Where are my keys? The camera showed the world through his eyes, and the castle looked like strange potato-shaped men. Shaggy started to scream, his fingers elongated by 2 inches, and he ran out of the bus, tripped and cracked his head against a large stone with a visible bloodstain. The camera just stayed there for a few minutes before the others picked him up. It was like some kind of drug-induced hallucination. What was most uncomfortable was the sight of Scooby picking and eating the Scooby snacks out of his unconscious body's pockets, while not being at all helpful toward the situation. The scene cut to them entering the castle. Shaggy was fine now, but he walked with a limp for the rest of the episode. There was a note on the floor. Jinkies! Velma exclaimed. Don't pick up that fucking note, you goddamn sack of nuts and bolts! Fred yelled, holding a sandwich. Old Man Jenkins greeted them. He seems like such a nice old man, Daphne said. Don't talk to him, Fred yelled. A few seconds later, there was a blood-curdling scream. All the cast ran through the mansion to a room with a bookcase. There was a circle-shaped hole in the wall. Velma peeked her eye through. Fucking stop it! Fred shoved her out of the way. I think I have a clue, Velma said. Pick up a small curly hair from the floor. Well, what the fuck could that be, you dirty bitch cunt? Fred said. Old Man Jenkins appeared in the room. They say the man who lived in this house died years ago. He had his lower torso bronzed so that he could preserve his manhood for all eternity. That there. He was holding a pitchfork. He looked like a farmer, even though this was a mansion. His farmer's hat was frayed. They say you can still hear the sack click-clacking away. Fred punched him square in the jaw. He started to cry and ran into the other room. What has gotten into you? Daphne exclaimed. Oh, I don't know, Fred said. The last 5 mysteries we've solved have all been related, don't you think? The abominable junk man, him and his flamboyant accent. The testicular witch of the West? What about the dangling danger? We all know what the fucking dangling danger was. Oh, man. Fred looked really pissed, like a vein was about to snap in his forehead. This bookcase looks like it retracts, Velma said. There were huge scrotal marks dragged across the floor. The camera cut to the hole in the wall, which the cast was now screaming at. A pair of balls were dangling through the wall, just sitting there. Zoinks! Shaggy yelled. They were a hairy, older man's nut sack. Well, golly gee, Velma said. Fred ran up and kicked the balls with his shoe. The man screamed. The weak panel of the wall fell back, revealing Old Man Jenkins with his pants down. He was cupping his testicles. They grabbed his facial skin and ripped it off, revealing an older Spanish man. It was Old Man Jenkins. Fred put his hand over Velma's mouth. And I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids. Gotten away with what? Exposing your testicles to 4 people a third your age and their dog? Old man Jenkins just sat there as the camera slowly zoomed into his face. The camera stayed there for 3 minutes as I saw a tear drip down his face. What followed was just a series of taped-together news reports about various fires being started across the Midwest. Nobody knew who or what was starting the fires. I just became terribly confused. Oh, another video of a man hitting a dog with his shoe while the dog whimpered was shown. Hanna-Barbera would not advocate animal abuse. Something must have been afoot. I shut the tape off, took it out. I went into the bathroom and I threw up for a good 20 minutes. I guess I could have left it at that, gone about my merry way, and just considered it a fluke of animation. Maybe it's easier to see the world that way, to put it in a paper bag where everything is safe and controlled. But they say curiosity killed the cat, and maybe I'm already dead. I looked at the address on the tape. 266 King Street, West 2nd floor. Toronto, Ontario, MSV 1H8.